Good afternoon, everybody, and welcome here as we get ready for our 8th race of the Chase for the Championship here in Season 2 of the Hersheys Cup Series. This is the midway point of Round 3. Next week, we will have yet another elimination race at Talladega Superspeedway. 5 drivers will be eliminated, setting themselves up for our final 4 to battle for the championship at Auto Club. And from what we've seen, the middle race always seems to be very, very important leading into that elimination race, and the point stands are really close coming into today's race as well, as far as those 9 drivers that are still in the hunt for the championship. As we have an all-rookie front row, Garrett Sidner lines up on the pole position alongside of O'Neal Balvin. Tell you what, CJ Racing, their team have really come alive as far as qualifying is concerned. Chris Dodd in the past 10 weeks or so has sat on 2 pole positions, and now rookie teammate Garrett Sidner sits on the pole here today at Homestead Miami. It'll be 40 laps of racing here today. Should be interesting. This is normally in most series, especially the Sprint Cup Series, the season finale area, but we have it as our next to last race of the season. Talladega and Auto Club are 2 season finale races. Let's go down and get the command to fire them up.
Drivers, start your engines!
There's the command to fire them up. A very enthusiastic command as we're getting ready to go here. The pace car will lead them off of pit road, and we'll see on the right side of your screen your starting lineup for today's race. Now, let's talk about the point standings coming into this race. Anthony McCurry was the highest finishing of the Chasers last week at Michigan, so he is currently the points leader coming into today's race. Second place is Benjamin Miles. He's only 4 points out of the top spot in the standings, though. James Richardson is third. He is 7 points out, and Zachary Fitzwater currently sits in the coveted 4th position, 11 points out of the lead. Behind Fitzwater, though, the 4th position is kind of the cutoff line as far as making it into the Final 4 at Auto Club. And from Fitzwater down, you got Fitzwater in 4th. 5th place in the stands is Kyle Matthews. He's only 4 points behind Fitzwater. 6th in the stands is Charles Sanford. He's only 5 points behind Fitzwater. Chris Dodd, he is 7th in the points, only 9 points out of 4th place. Jessica Shelton is 8th in the standings, only 11 points out of the 4th position in the standings. And then Grayson Acavito really needs a good run today. He is 9th in the standings, 24 points out of 4th in the standings. And there's a driver that was on the bottom of the racetrack. I think that's Emmanuel Hartnett. Looks like he's coming to pit road early here. Tough break there for Emmanuel. However, keep in mind last week at Michigan, Marie Minobi came to pit road before taking the green flag. What happened? She won the race. Green flag's out, though. We're underway here at Homestead Miami Speedway. 40 laps. Who's going to win it? We'll have to see if Emmanuel Hartnett's team can get him back out, but without going a lap down. As the battle's on for second, Ryan Madden trying to move by John Cittadino will take the spot, and whoa, look at him into this corner. Slipping and sliding, they were almost 3 wide for a brief second, and using the high side out of 4, Garrett Sidner will hang on and lead the first lap. The battle's still on for second between John Cittadino and Ryan Madden, and unfortunately for Emmanuel Hartnett, he did not get out ahead of the leader, so he will fall an early lap down. It's a tough break there for the 97. The thing that helped Marie Minobi last week was she got a quick caution flag when she had to come to pit road. Hartnett did not get one here as we've run now completed 2 laps under green flag conditions. And Ryan Madden looking for the lead. A little bit of irony. Ryan Madden battling with the car he drove last season, the 88. Now driving the 8 for Sega Motorsports. John Cittadino right there in third. And talked about Zachary Fitzwater comes in that coveted 4th position in points. Well, right now he is the highest running chaser on the track, and he's currently in the 4th position. Now Tripentakio Vernio trying to get by him for that spot, and he's also got his teammate behind him, Daniel Olson, a couple of rookies out of the satellite team for Tweenix Racing, and Vernio will move to the 4th position. We got a battle on for the lead again. Ryan Madden all over the back bumper of Garrett Sidner, who's trying to pick up the 3rd win of the season for CJ Racing, but looks like he may have to give way to Ryan Madden here in 3 and 4. Madden stays alongside. They'll drag race it down to the start-finish line. Which line wins? Inside, outside. Give it to Sidner on the outside line by a couple of inches. Madden still hanging on the bottom, and it looks like the bottom in 1 and 2 is the way to go. High side through 3 and 4 gets the better run. As now Citadino will try and take second. Ryan Madden now the new race leader, and if you look at Ryan Madden's history, he is a former winner in the Hersheys Cup Series. He ended up winning the penultimate race last season at the track we're going to next week, Talladega Superspeedway. So apparently he's very good at the tracks later on in the season. And are we under caution? No, we are not, but Joshua Sekuli just made an unscheduled pit stop in the 47. And there's quite a gap now from the top 5, which ends with Daniel Olson back to 6th place. Zachary Fitzwater in this second group. Holden Gluba's in this, Carson Scott, Dylan Poteet, Balvin, Davey Johnson, Nathan Hudson, and bringing up the rear is Jessica Shelton. Comes into this race only 11 points out of 4th in the standings. Let's find out where the rest of our chasers are running. Got to drop way back before you get to Benjamin Miles, Anthony McCurry, 1st and 2nd in the point standings coming into this race. McCurry scored 18th, Miles scored in 19th right now. Charles Sanford started pretty well up in the field, but he's dropped back now to the 22nd position, just ahead of fellow chaser Chris Dodd, scored in 23rd. Then you got to jump quite a ways back before you get to the 11 of James Richardson, who is mired way back in traffic. Right now scored in the 33rd position, came in 3rd in the point standings, and this is not good for him. Then you got a couple of other chasers back here struggling. Grayson Acavito, who basically really could use a win to get back into contention here in this third round of the chase. He's 39th, and then 40th right behind him, you got Kyle Matthews. Actually make that, yeah, he is 40th. Okay, they didn't update the scoring monitor. He is in the 40th position right now. That's not good for Kyle Matthews. Came in 4 points out of 4th in the standings. He really needs to step it up. Maybe pit strategy. Maybe they can do something on the green flag pit stop. There's Emmanuel Hartnett. He is currently a lap down the 41st position. And Joshua Sekuli, I'm not certain where the 47's at right now, but he is also a lap down in 42nd. So 2 cars currently off the lead lap, Hartnett and Sekuli, as Ryan Madden is opening up quite a bit of daylight between himself and the 88 of Ryan Madden, or of Garrett Sidner, I should say, the pole sitter. John Citadino there in the 3rd position. Boy, I'm having a great time doing this today. And Tripitaki Vernio, Daniel Olson. How about this for the 2 drivers out of the Satellite Tweenix Motorsports team? Vernio, of course, a former winner this season, winning his very first Hersheys Cup Series race. His first start at M&M Superspeedway. Daniel Olson, as I recall, in his debut race didn't do so bad either. I think his debut race might have been Chicagoland. I might be wrong, but I think it was the start of the chase. Meanwhile, Joshua Sekuli coming out of turn 4. Ryan Madden coming out of turn 4 right now. He may encounter that 47 car, who's currently 1 lap down, and if Ryan Madden catches him, he'll put him a 2nd lap down. So not good here for the 2-time winner this season, Joshua Sekuli. The best battle on track might be for the 2nd position. Garrett Sidner, John Citadino, Tripitaki Vernio, and Daniel Olson all in this mix. Sidner going to run a little high there through 3 and 4. That's going to give him a good run off the corner. Citadino does the same, and he'll hang on to the 3rd position over Tripitaki Vernio for now. Back in the 6th position, that's where you find Carson Scott. 7th place right now, our Lime Rock race winner, and that was Nathan Hudson. Kind of ironic, 6th and 7th place, both winners at road courses. Carson Scott's win this season came at Infineon. Dylan Poteet trying to catch up here with his teammates, if you will. Vernio and Olson, he's battling side by side for 8th position with Zachary Fitzwater. Dylan Young up in this mix now, along with Holden Gluba. John Arndt, there's Anthony McCurry now up in the fray. Fitzwater right now still the highest running chase driver, but he's got Shelton and McCurry not too far behind him. As now Poteet will clear for the 8th position. Here comes Dylan Young looking for 9th. John Arndt there as well, trying to get into the top 10. This is where they're doing a lot of the hard racing, just at the tail end of the top 10. And we got a battle up ahead. Let's jump up to that. That is Daniel Olson stepping out on teammate Tripitaki Vernio, but Vernio got the good run through the middle of the corner, and he'll hang on to the 4th position. Meanwhile, up ahead, Ryan Madden is slowly continuing to reel in the 47 of Joshua Sekuli. Now keep in mind, Sekuli, He did make an unscheduled pit stop, but from what it's looking like, especially with the amount of time it's taking Ryan Madden to reel him in, that 47 car, I'm pretty sure, is up to speed. So if Ryan Madden starts getting into a battle here with Sekuli, and Sekuli doesn't want to go down a second lap easily, that could end up bringing second on back to Ryan Madden's back door. Ryan Madden also trying to pick up the second win of the season for Sega Motorsports, as so far third win of the season, that is, with Sega Motorsports, with their third different driver, Kyle Keith winning at Pocono, Sean Galligan winning at Armory Digital Super Speedway. I'd forgotten about Keith's Pocono win. And Ryan Madden, of course, as mentioned, trying to go for his second win of his Hersheys Cup Series career, his first one coming last season at Talladega Super Speedway. So it's almost been a 36-race winless streak for Ryan Madden, as he'll go to the inside on Sekuli. Sekuli going to battle on the high side, though, out of 4, and I don't know if Madden's going to be able to make the move at least just yet. Now he'll have the preferred line, the inside line here into 1, so he probably will be able to get Sekuli cleared. Not just yet. Sekuli battles back again on the high side, and one thing that we saw in knockout qualifying was when you're pinched down there in the inside line, you don't get as much speed. And so that would have made me think that it's going to help Garrett Sidner and John Cedino close up the gap. But now Madden has cleared Joshua Sekuli, and now will continue to go to work at laying down fast lap times again. That time by Sidner only closed up the gap between himself and Madden by 0.2. Keep in mind, these drivers are probably going to have to pit at some point too, so it's still not over by a long shot. Let's jump back to that battle between the chasers. And now the highest running chaser is the points leader, Anthony McCurry. He's now up to the 10th position. Fitzwater has dropped back. He's now actually in a battle for second highest chase driver on the track with Jessica Shelton. That would be a battle right now, I believe, for the 15th position. And Shelton got it at the line. So right now, McCurry is the highest running chaser. Then you got Shelton second highest. Fitzwater, who was the highest for a majority of the first half of this race, now has dropped back to the third highest running chaser. And Benjamin Miles, right now second in the point standings. He is the fourth highest running chaser. Last time by, scored in the 18th position. Let's look at some of the other drivers, though. Chris Dodd right there in the 08. He's currently scored in 25th. Let's see if that changes this time by. And no, it does not. Still scored in 25th. Chris Dodd came into this race 9 points out of 4th in the standings. Jump further back, that's where you got to find Charles Sanford. Right now, he is scored in the 33rd position, so he dropped like a rock through this field, and this is not good for him. Came in 5 points back of 4th in the standings. There's James Richardson, 35th in points, or 35th on the racetrack, I should say. Came in 3rd in the point standings. This isn't good for him either, because as things stand right now, I could see him and Jessica Shelton swapping spots in the points, with Richardson falling out and Shelton moving in. Of course, there's still a long ways to go in this race, potential of pit stops, but right now it's not looking good for Richardson with where he's running right now, currently in 35th. Kyle Matthews, I don't want to say raise the white flag just yet, but right now if he doesn't get running a little bit better, he's going to find himself in the same position heading into Talladega that Grayson Acavito found himself coming into today's race in. Acavito came in 24 points out of 4th in the stands, and Kyle Matthews kind of digging a hole for himself here if he doesn't pick up some track position. Speaking of Acavito, there he is, 40th position right now, last car on the lead lap, and this is not good for him because, as I said, came in a 24-point deficit, not behind the leader in points, but behind 4th in the standings. And there's trouble! Big wreck on the front straightaway! Oh my goodness, a car in the air, O'Neal Baldwin, and this changes everything! Shelton was collected in it! So is Matthews! So is Sanford! I'm looking for more chasers! Richardson was in it as well! And the caution flag comes out. A big pileup on the front straightaway. Levi McIntyre collected. Kat Tellier is involved. And this may change everything. Baskinger, Gluba involved. Fitzwater, 4th in the points. He is smoking. The engine is just shut off on his Dodge Dart. There is Richardson. More smoke ahead. Hartnett's involved. Gonzalez. Michael Norman's been collected up in it as well. Oh my goodness gracious. Davey Johnson, Cole Baker, Zach Flickinger, they were in it. Joseph Srigley. There is Sanford. Leon Alvarez is coming to pit road. Oh boy, JT Bryant was in it. Chris Dodd might have been collected. He's got a little bit of rear end damage. There's Fitzwater. Grayson Acavito was in it as well. Somebody else on the apron smoking. Oh, that's Cody Lamas in the 78 car. Levi McIntyre, you can see, has got damage. And pit stops are going on in the middle of all this. We're going to jump real quickly here to the 8 of Ryan Madden, the race leader. Can his team get it done on pit road? This is going to set us up for probably a restart with less than 10 to go, but oh my goodness, if the chase picture wasn't any more clouded, and Ryan Madden goes with fuel only. Tripentakio Vernio does the same. He's out second. And I believe Garrett Sidner is going to come out in third. Carson Scott fourth, and fifth, John Cittadino. Cole Baker is a lap down, I do believe. So it will be Ryan Madden, still the race leader. There's Charles Sanford. He came out of pit road, but I think he's on the tail end of the lead lap. Ryan Madden will be the leader when we go back to green, but oh my goodness, we got a lot of stuff to look at here. A huge pile up on the front straightaway with only about 10 laps remaining in this session when we go back green. Well, this started somewhere just around the battle for, I would say, the 15th position. Oh, watch up ahead. Holden Gluba, Jessica Shelton. Now, I'm not exactly sure what happened right there. Let's look at that again. Get a better look. Okay, Shelton gets a run on Gluba. Gluba just got loose. I don't know what happened there with the 55. The car just steps out on him. That scrubbed off speed, and Shelton's got absolutely nowhere to go. So Shelton gets turned up into the wall, and then there's absolutely nowhere for the teammates there. Fitzwater Australia Racing to go. Baskinger plows in, so does Fitzwater, so does Kat Tellier. See if we can get a better camera angle here with TV2. Oh yeah, this will definitely give us a good look. Zach Flickinger, JT Bryant. That's Levi McIntyre, I think, down there on the bottom behind his teammate in the 22. You've got O'Neal Balvin there in the 04. Chris Dodd tries making his way through. Davey Johnson, he's going to hit Fitzwater. And then it's not over. Michael Norman's going to hit somebody further up, but we'll look further back here first at the hits. Here comes Cody Lamas. He's going to hit O'Neal Balvin. Leon Alvarez gets involved right there. There's Shrigley. There's Sanford as Balvin's car goes flipping up in the air. Cole Baker gets into Sanford. Here comes James Richardson. He gets into the back of Shelton. Kyle Matthews gets into Fitzwater. Trent Dunham's collected as well. And then if we move further up, let's actually rewind it back again. Let's get to Michael Norman, because I think he's the one that clobbers Levi McIntyre. Here it is right here. McIntyre was held up behind JT Bryant and Flickinger. Norman clobbers him from behind. Sean Galligan's going to get a little bit of contact right there. And then there's more. Lots more. There they are. Emmanuel Hartnett into Kyle Matthews, into Cole Baker. Hartnett then slides and slams into the left front of Chris Dodd. There's Grayson Acavito into the back of Trent Dunham. Brandon Gonzalez does a nice job of getting through this. And I'm pretty sure Acavito hits somebody else too. I'm not certain who, but I think somebody else gets clobbered by the 66. Maybe it's the 3 of Norman, because Acavito had a lot more damage, I thought. Well, maybe not. No, I guess he doesn't hit anybody else. I thought he had a lot more damage than what it looked like, but maybe not. Nope, apparently not. Okay, so that is what put us under the caution. And as far as the chasers are concerned, a lot of them caught up in this one, including Richardson, Fitzwater, Matthews, Sanford, Chris Dodd, Shelton, and Grayson Acavito. That is 7 of our 9 championship competitors involved in this wreck right here. The only 2 that made it through, Anthony McCurry and Benjamin Miles. They were ahead of the wreck when it happened. Anyway, let's head back now for the green flag to finish out today's race and see who is left. Getting ready to go back green. We've got a couple drivers on the inside line a lap down, including James Richardson, who will try and continue, along with Cole Baker, Joshua Sakuli, and Levi McIntyre. Charles Sanford is on the tail end of the lead lap ahead of the race leader, Ryan Madden. So he will restart in 20th. And the drivers officially at this point out of the race from that wreck include Tim Walsh, JT Bryant, Leon Alvarez, Zach Flickinger, Davey Johnson, Brandon Gonzalez, Zachary Fitzwater. This is going to hurt him. 31st he'll finish today. Kat Tellier out of the race along with Michael Norman, Trent Dunham, Joseph Strigley, Cody Lamas, Kyle Matthews out of the race in 37th. This could hurt his chances of making the Final Four. O'Neill Baldwin also out. Jessica Shelton out of the race in 39th. This could hurt her chances as well. Also out Jake Bassinger, Holden Gluba, and Emmanuel Hartnett. Getting ready to go back green. We will actually still have a total of 12 laps to go as the green flag's back out. That's why the drivers are lined up on the inside line. It's Ryan Madden, Tripataki Vernio, then Sidner, Scott, Cittadino. That's your top 5. Then Olson, Hudson, Young, Poteet, and Arndt. That is your top 10 on this restart. And things definitely breaking up here with the slower machines in the way. Madden will get by Sanford, put him a lap down now, and Tripataki Vernio will do the same. Now he'll go to work on trying to run down Ryan Madden. Carson Scott now move. Oh, wait a minute. Pit stops again. Madden and Vernio are in. Now keep in mind, these two went with fuel only. They did not take tires. I think maybe they were hoping for a quick caution. I think that turns the lead over. No, it turns it over to Carson Scott. I thought it was going to be to Garrett Sidner, who was third off pit road with taking tires, but no, Carson Scott will be the race leader. And if memory serves me correctly, Carson Scott is the defending winner of this race. So could he go 2 for 2 in starts here at Homestead Miami Speedway? Daniel Olson now inherits second. Hudson to third, Cittadino fourth, Sidner in fifth, but he's actually got a battle right now for that spot. That's Dylan Young trying to take the position. William Brock now moves up into 7th. Dallas McIntosh in 8th, and 9th place right now is Anthony McCrory. As I said, McCrory and Miles were the only two that were ahead of that wreck that did not get involved as far as chases are concerned. And right now they're in 9th and 11th. I think that even regardless of what happens next week at Talladega, those two could be in good shape of being in the Final Four to battle for the championship. Oh, things getting hairy up here. 3 wide. Sidner, Hudson, Cittadino. And they all settle it back out to double wide formation, but this is allowing Carson Scott to open up quite a bit of distance between himself and the second place car of Daniel Olson. Olson now trying to clear Charles Sanford and set his sights on the 38, but Carson Scott right now has about an 0.8 of a second advantage between himself and second place Daniel Olson. And he may be able to open it up even more if they continue to battle for the second position. Carson Scott got into the chase with his win at Infineon this season. Got eliminated in the first round. And now sets his sights on his second win of the season and second win at Homestead Miami Speedway in his career. Looking for career win number 3. He's got the 47 of Joshua Sekuli up ahead, who is, I believe, 2 laps down. Actually make that 1 lap down now as he's currently running ahead of the leaders. But I don't know if he'll be a factor or not. But man, what a tough break there for drivers Ryan Madden and Tripataki Vernio having to come to pit road for tires. We got a new second place car. That's Dylan Young in the 2. Moving by Daniel Olson, and here comes William Brock. That's for the 3rd position. Now can Dylan Young reel in Carson Scott with about 5.5 laps to go? He's opened up the distance between himself and that battle for 3rd. Dylan Young's coming to the front in a hurry. Can he reel in Carson Scott? Dylan Young, in his career here in the Hershey's Cup Series, has yet to go to victory lane. Could he do it today? At the line that time, the distance was about 1.14. No, it closed up by about 0.3 actually. They took him a while to actually update the scoring monitor. So Dylan Young is closing the gap between himself and Carson Scott, but time is running out. Dylan Young trying to catch the draft of the 38 to reel him in. And at the line, he will have 4 more laps to work with, and he is visibly closing. We could have a battle for the win here in the next 2 laps. 0.5 of a second that time, the advantage. He closed it down by another 0.3. Dylan Young will be on Carson Scott's back door in the next lap and a half if he continues to run the pace he's running. William Brock has now moved into 3rd, our winner from the Springfield Mile. Could he play spoiler and pick up his second win of the season? Oh, Dylan Young closing the gap up quickly. Catching him is one thing, passing him is another. He might be able to make the move down here into 1. He's going to try it. Looking to the inside. Can he get to the left rear? Not this time at least. But Dylan Young is right there on Carson Scott's back door with about 2.5 laps to go. Here comes Dylan Young looking to the bottom here in 3. That's not the preferred line. Scott will try and get the run off of 4. Young slides it up to try and take away a little bit of momentum. He is still alongside, door to door, coming to the line. 2 laps to go. Can Dylan Young make the move on Carson Scott? He's trying. He tries to slide up. Can't do it. Now still to the inside. Still to the left rear. Pulls alongside again to head down to 3. William Brock hoping they continue to battle so he can get in this mix. Here comes Dylan Young again. Trying to take the inside line advantage. Slides it off the corner. Is he clear on Carson Scott? Not yet. Not yet. Carson's still on the outside line. Battles back. White flag. 1 lap to go. Dylan Young, half a car length in hand, tries to clear Carson Scott going into 1. He does. Scott slides back to 2nd. Now Scott's going to maybe try the crossover here down the back straightaway into 3. Dylan Young clearing for the lead, looking for career win number 1 in the Hersheys Cup Series. Through 3 and 4, the gap now about a car length and a half. Dylan Young makes the pass with 2 to go. Sees the white flag, and well, the checkered flag. Dylan Young wins at Homestead Miami Speedway. You knew it was just a matter of time. His finishes in the last few weeks have been absolutely incredible. He was 15th last week at Michigan, so you knew a trip to victory lane had to be in the cards for this team. Their speed was definitely going up in the last few weeks with his performance. And today, he caps it off with a victory and a trip to victory lane here at Homestead Miami. Second win of the season for Young Motorsports, first of the season for Dylan Young, and first of his Hersheys Cup Series career. How about that? Man, 1.5 laps to go and the pass was made for the win. Don't know why. I always seem to kind of discount Homestead Miami as a track where good racing might not take place, and it always seems to surprise me. Carson Scott will come away with 2nd, William Brock in 3rd. Daniel Olson, the highest finishing rookie today, in 4th, and John Cittadino will finish the day out in 5th. The pole sitter Garrett Sidner comes away with 6th, Nathan Hudson in 7th. Dallas McIntosh gets 8th. The highest finishing chaser today, Anthony McCrory. I'm not certain this doesn't lock him up a spot in the final 4 for the chase. I don't know for certain, but we'll have to find out next week. He'll get 9th, and Dylan Pote will complete the day out in the top 10. Sean Galligan gets 11th. Second highest finishing chaser was Benjamin Miles in 12th. And then you look on down through the remainder of the drivers who finished on the lead lap. John Arndt in 13th, 14th Daniel Voiles, Joshua Michaels 15th, and finishing 16th was Chris Dodd, 3rd highest finishing chaser today. Don't know, with the fact that Fitzwater finished out of the race, Chris Dodd might be back up into the top 4 in the point standings. But I'm not exactly sure who would join him. Maybe, just maybe, Charles Sanford. Let's see where Sanford came in behind Richardson. Let's see, because let's assume that Chris Dodd took the 4th spot. Let's see, 9 points back of James Richardson was Charles Sanford. He finished 17th. Richardson finished 21st. So it's going to be close between those two, I think. Actually, I think it'll actually be close between Chris Dodd and Richardson, actually, for that 4th spot. I think it may be a pretty good 3-way battle. Chris Dodd, Charles Sanford, and James Richardson trying to get into that top 4 in the point standings. But the rest of our chases, you look, James Richardson, as I mentioned, 21st. Grayson Acavito was 23rd. I think that might be all she wrote for Acavito, unless Acavito can win next week at Talladega. Then you got to look way down before you get to Zachary Fitzwater in 31st. Kyle Matthews, 37th. Jessica Shelton in 39th. I don't want to make any predictions too soon, but I'm almost thinking that the DNFs here for Shelton and Matthews puts them in a must-win situation as well next week at Talladega Superspeedway. But anyway, that's going to do it here today from Homestead Miami. Dylan Young takes his first career checkered flag here today at Homestead Miami Speedway here in Florida. I guess you could kind of consider this a home track for him because he's from Florida. He's a Florida native. He considers Chicagoland Speedway and Daytona home tracks as well, but this is in Florida, so I guess you could say a home track win there for the White Deuce. Anyway, thank you all so much for tuning in to today's race. If you enjoyed it, be sure to give us a like, subscribe to become part of the crew. Today we'll show you full finish results down through 42nd once again. There it is, down through 42nd place. Up next, we'll show you your rookie points, your overall points, and your chase points heading to next week, where you will see who heading into Talladega currently sits in the top 4 positions in the points, because so far in this round, we have not had a chaser go to victory lane and lock themselves up a spot in the chase for the championship. Minobi won last week. Dylan Young wins this week. Next week, though, Talladega Superspeedway, an elimination race. We will then determine the final 4 to battle in the season finale at Auto Club. The finish of this season drawing ever closer. We're one step closer to finding out who the Season 2 Hersheys Cup Series champion will be. But thank you all so much for tuning in, as you've been watching a production of the NNSCRA Offline Racing at its best. We'll see you guys next week at Talladega.
Oh, don't think it is.
He's going for it! He's going for it!
It's gonna be a photo finish.
Side by side to the line! Hudson and Sidner! Who is it? I think it was Sidner. It might have been. It was! Holy cow! Oh, look out, Charles, behind you!